Akito Kanbara is a depressed high school student, so one day he decides to take his own life. He still doesn't know how he will do it, but at that moment he notices one of his fellow students standing on a ledge of the school roof. He sees that the student is Mirai Kiriyama and he runs to save her. Just before she jumps, Akito comes to her rescue, trying to stop her from making the leap. Mirai gets angry at him for trying to stop her, so she uses her deadly sword and stabs Akito directly in the heart. To both of their shock, nothing happens and Akito is totally fine. Time passes and things return to normal, but Mirai is fascinated by Akito and secretly follows him. Akito and his friend Mitsuki are in the middle of preparing a project for their book club when Mirai shows up. It seems that for the past week she has been stalking Akito and preparing to kill him. She once again tries to kill him, but again nothing happens. It is revealed that Akito is immortal because he is half human and half youmu. Youmu are supernatural beings that are very dangerous. Mitsuki makes fun of Akito because he is being stalked by Mirai, but she also advises him to stay away from her as she is known to be very strange. After class, Mirai once more confronts Akito and reveals some information to him. Mirai is part of an ancient clan called Kiriyama, and people of that clan are able to create weapons from their own blood. Mirai is the only surviving member of the Kiriyama clan. She then once more chases after Akito to attack him, and their chase takes them to a nearby classroom where suddenly a youmu creature crashes through the window. They both get scared, but at that moment, Shizuku Ninomiya, who is a famous spirit world warrior, shows up and deals with the youmu. Shizuku goes after the youmu and chases it out of the school. Afterwards, Mirai and Akito go to dinner, and there Mirai learns that she has been using Akito as practice for her battle training. Elsewhere, Shizuku manages to kill the youmu and takes a mysterious stone from its core. The next day at school, Akito once more talks to Mirai and learns that she had been attacked by a youmu at her house. Mirai also reveals that she hates her abilities and doesn't like killing. Finally understanding her, Akito decides to help her get rid of the youmu that is haunting her house, and so the two of them go to her house and fight. While fighting the youmu, Mirai takes the battle outside her house. She chases the youmu to a playground, and there they have a ferocious battle. Mirai finally manages to wound the youmu, hitting it near its eye. This makes the youmu retreat, but Mirai keeps going after it. But Mirai finally unleashes her power and uses acid in her blood to attack the youmu. The youmu is immobilized, so Mirai finally achieves the courage to kill it. She takes a special glowing stone out of the youmu's chest. Later, Akito tries to help Mirai with her battle wounds. He even invites her to join his book club, but Mirai refuses and passes out. The following day, both Mirai and Akito take the youmu stone to sell it, but they are met with a humanoid youmu called Shindo. Mirai immediately takes out her sword, but Shindo explains that he is an evil, and that youmu are all different in nature. Shindo takes their stone and evaluates its value. The next day, Akito tries to find out more information about the youmu and why they have become so aggressive. He gets no useful information, but he does find a postcard from his mother. Shindo explains that in the postcard there is a warning about a youmu called the Hollow Shadow. This youmu has no form and can defeat even the strongest spirit warriors. Ayaka explains that this youmu is so dangerous that other youmu are afraid of it. Later, Ayaka gives Mirai the money from the stone, and Mirai decides to take Akito to dinner. Mirai tries to convince Akito to stay out of her life as she has previously killed someone and doesn't deserve friends. Later in the week, Mirai is chasing a weaker youmu. Once she has it, Mirai is unable to kill it, but Mitsuki shows up and finishes it off. He gives her the stone from the youmu, but Mirai refuses to take it. Elsewhere at the Spirit World Warrior Department, Miroku and Izumi discuss the upcoming threat of the Hollow Shadow. Meanwhile at school, Akito tries once more to get Mirai to join his book club, but she refuses again. Mitsuki gives Akito information about Mirai and her connection to the Anami clan. It is also revealed that Mira plans going after the Hollow Shadow alone. Later in the day, the Hollow Shadow appears in the city and all the youmu start getting aggressive. The moon also changes its color to a creepy purple glow. Akito tries to stop Mirai from going after the Hollow Shadow, but Mirai explains that she killed her best friend Yui when she got possessed by the Hollow Shadow. This is personal to Mirai and nothing will stop her quest for revenge. Meanwhile, Spirit World Warriors set up special barriers so that the Hollow Shadow leaves the city. Mirai follows the Hollow Shadow, reaching the edge of the city. She prepares for the upcoming battle, but suddenly Sakura Inami lunges at her. The two start fighting and the Hollow Shadow transports them to another part of the city. And Akito finally reaches Mirai and stops Sakura's attack. Sakura keeps on attacking, but Mirai and Akito manage to escape through a labyrinth that the Hollow Shadow seemingly created. They arrive at the train yard, but it looks like a twisted replication. The Shadow tries to trap Mirai with an illusion of her friend Yui, but Akito manages to snap Mirai back to reality before the Shadow kills her. The Hollow Shadow then reveals its true form and attacks Mirai. Mirai injects her own corrosive blood into the Shadow and destroys it. Akito and Mirai are returned to their own world. Mirai and Akito talk about their friendship when suddenly weak remains of the Hollow Shadow possess Akito. Akito begs Mirai to inject him with her blood. After she injects him, the shadow leaves his body and Mirai is able to defeat it once and for all. Afterwards, Mirai tries to heal Akito, but the spirit warriors show up and throw him into a cage. They explain that his Yama side has gotten stronger. Then suddenly Akito transforms into a giant monster, and because of his immense power he gets out of the cage. Akito in his Yama form starts creating fireballs that destroy everything nearby. Mirai recognizes herself in Akito and goes to hug him. After a short while, this calms down Akito and he returns back to his human form. Akito begins apologizing for all the destruction, and because of his apology Mirai starts to get emotional, and Miroku reports back to the Spirit Society about what had happened. After some time Mirai and Akito go to dinner together, and Mirai notices that Akito has not changed at all and is still her friend. Elsewhere, Izumi finds the hollow spirit stone and gives it to a mysterious man. After being convinced by Akito, Mirai finally accepts and joins his book club. Izumi also suspends Mirai's license as a spirit world warrior because she didn't listen to a direct order and went after the hollow spirit on her own. Mitsuki then comes up with a plan to take Mirai with her to a part-time job. Mirai talks with Mitsuki about her relationship with Akito. However, their conversation is interrupted when they notice that a youmu has possessed a person in the street. The two of them go after the youmu. After they catch it, Mirai fights the dangerous youmu and manages to kill it. Shizuku takes both of the girls to a barbecue lunch as a way of thanking them. Later in the day, Mitsuki and Mirai visit Ayaka and find a part-time job. While working, they talk about Akito and his depressive state after transforming into that monstrous youmu. Mitsuki tries to get Mirai to go to a special festival, but she refuses. After a couple of hours, Mitsuki manages to convince Mirai to go. At night, they go to the festival and there they run into Akito and Hirumi. Afterwards, we see Izumi meet with Mirai in the woods. After some time passes, Mirai finally gets back her license to be a spirit warrior. When she finds out that a special type of youmu resides on the school roof, she goes after it. Akito runs after Mirai but arrives too late to stop the youmu from throwing a toxic liquid all over Mirai. Shindo explains to Mirai that this specific youmu is vulnerable to human girls. So Mitsuki and Akito come up with the idea of using Mitsuki for hunting the youmu. Their plans fail and the youmu throws more of the same disgusting liquid onto Mitsuki and escapes. The group takes a week to plan how to defeat the youmu, and they get valuable intel that the youmu is also vulnerable to songs. They plan everything and finally they attack it with a special choreographed routine. Unfortunately, the group didn't sing anyone to attack the youmu, so it explodes and a ton of pink liquid covers everybody. An ordinary book club session is interrupted when Shizuku shows up and informs the group that Mirai's rival called Sakura will be joining their school. Later that day, Akito helps Sakura when he finds her in a battle against a flying youmu. After the battle, Akito takes her back home to patch her wounds up. The two talk and she tells him that her goal is to kill Mirai because of what she did to her family. It is also revealed that a mysterious man gave Sakura her spear that consumes youmu stones. Later, Mirai arrives at Akito's house and is shocked to find Sakura there. The two of them meet up at a special location and begin their final battle. Mirai draws Sakura to the sewers and tries to explain her side of the story. Mirai tells Sakura that revenge is not the path in life and that her goal is to live to honor the Inami sisters and their family. Hearing this changes Sakura and she stops the fight. Her spear tries to eat Sakura but Mirai saves her. Sakura admits that she lost her way and that she accepts Mirai's apology, and the two mend their relationship. Izumi and Mitsuki witness the start of a special occurrence called the Calm. This force spreads throughout the city and it is the first stage of something known as Beyond the Boundary. Shindo and Ayaka explain that during the Calm every youmu becomes weak and this could cause Akito to lose his immortality during the event. It is also revealed that Beyond the Boundary is actually a special youmu that is beyond powerful. Miroku tells the group that during a special investigation of the Nace family it was revealed that Izumu saved Mirai from being killed by the Inami clan after Yui's death. Akito wakes up while on his train ride home, but Izumi shows up and puts him to sleep. Ayaka decides to watch over Akito while at the shop because he is affected by the Calm. At precisely midnight, the Calm begins and the spirit warriors start killing any youmu they find. Izumi and Shizuku lead the charge and kill many youmu as they are now vulnerable. Hirumi and Mitsuki continue their investigation regarding the conflict between the Spirit Society and their own clan. Miroku goes to Ayaka's shop and decides to capture Akito and give him to the society. Ayaka uses her youmu form and attacks Miroku, but Izumi shows up and stops their battle. Mirai runs towards the shop to help Akito, but his youmu form has awakened. When she arrives at the shop, Mirai discovers that Akito has transformed into his youmu form. Hiromi and Mitsuki fight a giant youmu and Izuki goes into battle against Miroku. But after a short conflict, Miroku escapes. Izumi returns to the shop and attacks Akito in his form, but Akito manages to escape too. Hirumi and Mitsuki finally manage to defeat the giant youmu and go to Akito's apartment. It is revealed that the calm has affected Akito's human side and made it weaker. The group goes into the woods to track down Akito. Izumi tells Mirai that because of the calm, Akito is no longer immortal and she can finally kill him. Izumi explains that after the calm, Akito's youmu side will most likely take over completely. Mitsuki and Hirumi start to suspect that Izumi is keeping things from them and has ulterior motives. When they confront Izumi, they are warned about the society. Hirumi tries to talk to Mirai and explain that killing Akito might not be the best choice. Hirumi then goes to the Nace family archives and there he discovers something unbelievable. He realizes that Akito's youmu side is actually the one called Beyond the Boundary. At that moment, Miroku steals the hollow shadow stone from the Nace vault and Mirai finally manages to track down Akito, finding him in a part of the forest that is deserted. Mirai uses all her strength and goes into battle against Akito in his youmu form. She finally manages to land a killing blow. Mirai is heartbroken and with tears in her eyes she rushes at Akito to finish the battle. After some time, Akito wakes up and he goes back to his apartment. He realizes that Mirai has been watching over him after his youmu transformation. Mirai and Akito go to their book club like usual, but there it is revealed that Mirai exists in Akito through her blood. Everything that is happening right now is a dream and Akito is actually still not awake after his battle with Mirai. She also explains that her real mission was always to kill the Beyond the Boundary youmu, but after getting to know Akito she couldn't bear to harm him. Mirai used her blood to draw the youmu out of Akito and into herself, and after the process was completed she disappeared. Before saying goodbye for the final time, Mirai kisses Akito. The dream then ends and Akito wakes up shocked and saddened as he can't believe that Mirai is gone. 6 months before all of the events happened, it is revealed that Izumi summoned Mirai to the city and brought her to the Nace family. There, the family gave Mirai the order to kill the Beyond the Boundary youmu. The Nace family wanted Mirai to do this before the Spirit Warriors Society could get to Akito first. It is revealed that from the start Mirai was after Akito. She transferred to his school and her only mission was to kill him. But Mirai grew closer to Akito and started to spend time with him. Izumi warned her to keep her emotions away from the mission. However, as time went on, Mirai started to connect to Akito and understand him and their relationship grew stronger. Izumi was the one who then manipulated Mirai into thinking that the only way to save Akito is to sacrifice herself. And Izumi also unleashed Akito's youmu form during the calm. Mirai wakes up in a snowy place called Mirror World and moves towards the core of Beyond the Boundary. Akito woke up after being in a coma for 3 months. Hirumi and Mitsuki inform him that he has been separated from his youmu form, and it is revealed that Mirai sacrificed her own life to make the separation happen. Akito tries to speak to Izumi about Mirai, but Hirumi explains that it is no use. Suddenly, Izumi shows up and explains that she was the one behind Mirai using her cursed blood and sacrificing herself. Later in the day, Akito opens up one of the last emails that Mirai sent to him. In the email, she explains that she was able to accept herself because of him. Miroku theorizes that Beyond the Boundary used its weakened powers and transported itself and Mirai into another dimension. It is also revealed that Beyond the Boundary is now absorbing the supernatural energy from the real world to become even stronger. Miroku, using the special spear, reveals that Beyond the Boundary is now a black sphere that is hovering above the city. These giant creatures now start to absorb all the youmu that live in the city. The whole city goes into panic and Akito learns that Mirai is still alive and fighting Beyond the Boundary. Akito then uses the stone from Beyond the Boundary and regains some of his powers and goes into the black sphere, where he winds Mirai fighting her battle with Beyond the Boundary. Akito finally reunites with Mirai and the two make their way to the core of the monstrous youmu. Akito uses his youmu powers to fight off Beyond the Boundary, who is now sending lethal attacks after him and Mirai. Meanwhile, Sakura, Hirumi, Mitsuki, and Izumu all confront Miroku. Miroku then unleashes a giant barrier and traps himself and Izumu inside it. Inside the black sphere in the sky, Mirai and Akito finally reach the core of Beyond the Boundary, where Mirai uses her sword and stabs the heart of the giant youmu. Back on Earth, it is revealed that both Izumi and Miroku have youmu inside themselves and Izumi is hiding her true identity. Izumi later stabs and kills Miroku. Akito and Mirai face off a giant army of youmu. As the battle rages on, Beyond the Boundary finally reveals its true form and Akito fights it with all his powers. He manages to destroy it and absorb it into his body. The mirror world starts to disappear and so does Mirai. Akito and Mirai share a beautiful goodbye and she disappears. As time passes, the world returns back to normal. Hirumi has taken over the Nace clan and Akito thinks about Mirai all the time. One day Akito goes to the school roof and Mirai appears once more, and the two are happy to be together even if it's just for one last time. And this brings the anime to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.